And now to this stunning ruling just in from the Supreme Court today. According to the razor-thin, of course, majority, 5-4, it's now unconstitutional to execute a child rapist for his crimes. With us now is Mark Klass. Of course, Mark's young daughter, Polly, was raped and murdered back in 1993. I can't believe it was that long ago. He's the founder of ClassKids.org. And also joining us is Richard Dieter, who's the executive director of the Death Penalty Information Center. Richard and Mark, good to see you both. Mark, I want to start with you because I clerked up there at the Supreme Court, and nothing really surprises me that comes down from the court these days. But this is what Justice Anthony Kennedy said in the majority opinion. He said the death penalty is not a proportional punishment for the rape of a child. There is a national consensus against capital punishment for the crime of child rape. Mark, do you know of any such national consensus?
You know, I've never heard of anything like that before. He also said that it reflects the evolving understanding of the death penalty in the United States, but it doesn't reflect the evolving understanding of the nature of this particular crime. We know that individuals who would commit this crime once will certainly commit it again and again and again, given an opportunity. Therefore, I think it's incumbent upon all of us to put these people where they can't get their hands on innocent people in any way, shape, or form, and certainly the best way to do that is to put them on death row and hopefully ultimately execute them.
And most states don't provide for capital punishment for rapists of any kind. But, of course, Louisiana did. And, Richard, I'm going to go to you on this. I quoted the majority to Mark. I'm going to quote the dissenting opinion. Justice Alito wrote the dissent. Here's what he said. The harm that is caused to the victims and to society at large by the worst child rapists is grave. It's the judgment of Louisiana lawmakers and those in an increasing number of other states that these harms justify the death penalty. In other words, Richard, this is a decision for the people to make, not unelected judges sitting on the Supreme Court of the United States trying to gauge consensus. Consensus is gauged by elections.
Well, this is no doubt one horrible crime, but what this court's responsibility is to determine what the country's national consensus.
No, that's the legislature's decision. That's not the court's role. The legislatures reflect the opinion of the people, not the court. The role of the court is very different.
But the Eighth Amendment does bind us all, and they are trying to interpret, what is our standards under the Eighth Amendment, and found that only 2 sentences in 30 years had been handed down for this crime. So that reflects a national consensus against the death penalty for this kind of offense.
Well, the national consensus on a lot of issues is completely different from where the Supreme Court has taken us. School prayer. Let's talk about partial birth abortion. Let's talk about some of these hot-button issues that people have tried to, to circumvent the people to go to the court. So I don't know if you go to that national consensus thing, you'd disagree with probably a lot of the stuff that came down from the Supreme Court. It doesn't balance what the national consensus of the people say. They've been way apart from the people on some of these issues. But the key thing is, if the death penalty is not appropriate in cases like this, and this is a horrific crime, as you yourself said, in what cases is it appropriate, Richard?
What the court is saying is that death is different, and that if you've murdered a victim, that's a very significant difference. And the court is trying to give the states a bright line for when the death penalty is going to be applied and when it can't. And they said that if a victim is murdered, that's different, and we're going to draw the line there today. And I think they did help at least clarify the law for the rest of the country.
You know what I think of, Mark? I think of what our framers would think of where we are right now, where the Supreme Court of the United States, with the, just a dash of a pen and 5 unelected justices, completely throw out the will of the entire state of Louisiana, other states who think this is appropriate, because they, in their elite consensus skills, they think that this is somehow beyond the evolving standards of decency in our country. You know what I think is indecent? What the court does to the people of this country. And I think people are getting fed up with this.
Well, I think the thing that's really indecent is the fact that although we have the death penalty in this country, only 50 individuals have been executed over the 3,000 that exist on death row in the past 2 years. Laura, that's 1.5%. The death penalty in the United States really doesn't mean that anybody's going to be executed. What it does mean is that there is another layer of protection between us and those who have been judged to be the worst possible dregs of society and the most dangerous people in society.
And I'd have to agree with Mr. Klass completely. The death penalty is not serving victims because it's a false promise.
Oh, it does serve victims.
Executed.
It does serve victims. I'm a victim. Listen, my daughter's killer is on death row.
But
and the sooner they get rid of this guy, the sooner they get rid of this guy, the better I'll feel about it. But
99% of
Richard, if your daughter, I mean, I'm going to ask the question, the tough question. Your daughter were brutally raped, and I mean brutally raped, and repeatedly.
Yes.
What would you do, Richard? What would you think, Richard? Would you get out of this chair and say, you know something, the evolving standards of decency in our country, I really think we need to move beyond this callous punishment? Or would you as a father and you as a citizen want something done?
I'd want something done.
What would you want done, Richard?
And probably my emotions would say I'd want that person strangled right in front of me.
No, but wouldn't society want that?
That's why we have the 8th Amendment. That's why we have a Constitution.
You think our framers would think that this was, you actually think our framers would think this was unconstitutional? James Madison?
We are not Supreme Courts of one individual or one reaction. We are the Supreme Court, and we are a constitution of the whole people. And in that sense,
what does that mean?
That means the dignity of each human life has to be respected.
Oh, yeah, in the womb? It's not respected in the womb at the Supreme Court, so I wouldn't go down that road.
So, well, that's an issue that can be brought up. But we're talking about the death penalty, and where the victim here has been horribly abused.
Right.
But they are saying the death penalty is a slippery slope. If we start applying the death penalty every time we feel like it.
No, it's not every time we feel like it. It's people who brutally rape a child.
That was the standard you gave to me.
Yeah, well,
how do I feel?
Raping a child. Mark, what happens to a child who is raped later on in life? You know this, sadly.
Well, I do know it, sadly, and unfortunately, many of these victims never recover. I can't tell you how many people with broken lives have approached me in the last 15 years because of my situation and who I am, and told me that they underwent a similar circumstance during their life and they've never been able to put it together. Now you multiply that by the number of victims that each one of these characters is able to get his hands on, and you've got an incalculable situation.
That's why we need to punish these offenses with life without parole.
Yeah, so we pay the bill. So we foot the bill. Let's give him gym privileges.
Actually, the death penalty is going to cost you a lot more because
people like your organizations fight to stop the death penalty. If we allowed states
people like defense lawyers are ethically bound to do that.
People were allowed to carry through their punishments without 4 habeas appeals, without multiple. Well, let's just put it. Let's be very clear.
Sure, we could toss out the Constitution.
The Supreme Court could save us all a lot of trouble if they just had a 2-line opinion. We think the death penalty is unconstitutional, because clearly those 5 justices believe that, in my mind. Richard, I appreciate it. I know we're both kind of tag teaming you here, but I really appreciate it. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
And Mark, always great to see you.
Thank you, Laura.
And up next, does Barack Obama have a Muslim problem? You be the judge when Justin returns.